All right, hi ladies. It's Brittany, and I'm super excited to be here for week 2 with you in this book study, this launch pad. There's so many exciting things going on. I think there's good conversation. I think a lot of people, including myself, are realizing things about about just ourselves and about our businesses and different ways that we can be approaching this and bettering ourselves and bettering our technique. So I like what Nicole kind of shares over and over again too. It's just like those who go the farthest are those who are willing to grow themselves, and change and learn and, really invest in themselves so that they can pour out for other people. So I'm so glad you guys are in this class or in this Launchpad group or whatever. It's not really a class, I should say. It kind of feels like a class because we have a book, which I love. I love book studies. Oh my gosh. So this has been so good. So this week, social media tips and tricks, building off of what Nicole shared last week about your voice. And so many good things to remember. I know there's been lots of discussion here already, and I hope you guys are feeling, more confident in that. So basically, we're going to transition all of that into social media, specifically Facebook. Because not everybody has a blog, not everybody loves Instagram or Twitter or whatever, but everybody has Facebook, right? I think, yeah, everybody, because you're on a Facebook group. So, and most of your people, you know what I mean, that are far away, friends from high school, from college, from your workspace or previous locations that you've lived, like you've connected with them through Facebook. So this is an awesome avenue to share your heart and your passion about Young Living. So anyway, so obviously we'll start with the 90-10 rule. That's like point number 1. You guys have heard it before. I'm just going to say it again. 90-10. That means for every 10th post, or for every 10th post would only be about Young Living. So 9 posts about your life, about your date night, about your cat, about whatever your life is, you know what I mean? And then the 10th post about your business. So that's hard. That's hard for me because I'm just like, I don't want to tell everybody all day what I'm doing because I'm doing it all day, multiple times a day. So a good rule for me personally, just so I can like check it off my calendar, in my brain. I know I did it like Monday or Sunday at the beginning of the week. It just depends on what day works best for me and what's going on. That's my day to post for Young Living. And the rest of the week, I am being sure to fill in every day, at least once a day, if not twice a day, something about my personal life with pictures, with stories, drawing people into content so that they can relate to me. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, she's a mom, or oh yeah, she's eating a Whole Foods diet, or oh, she's doing cloth diapering, whatever it is, you know what I mean? That they're connecting. And I'm trying, and I've seen other successful people do this and stuff too, and I think this is something good to keep in mind, like drawing people into your content with questions, drawing them in with funny stories that they feel like they can share with, like I don't know, like if you share about like, hey, we're on a date night tonight, and this is what we're doing. I love my spouse. Like, what is your favorite way to spend date night? You know what I mean? So people are like, oh yeah, she's doing this, and this is really cool, and I want to tell her my story too. And so they start talking, you know what I mean? So that when my 10th post comes, and I post about like some DIY, lotion I've made for my baby, people want to enter that conversation too because they feel connected. You know what I mean? They feel like, oh, she's cool, and I can have a conversation with her. And it's not always about like she's trying to sell me something, but it's like she really cares, and she's really interacting with me on other levels. And I think that's gold. Honestly, I think that is something that we all want. Like, we all want to be validated. We all want to talk. We all want to be heard. So I just really encourage you to be, thinking of ways that you can invite people into your content. So when you post about Young Living, you can also invite them into that. So with that, I would also say, I heard Courtney Kreitz, she had said it, but I'm sure it's just kind of like upline mantra across the board or for all, businesses or whatever. Don't be typical MLM. People expect that. Facts tell, stories sell. So I have that literally at the top of like all my goal sheets. Don't be typical MLM. People expect that. Facts tell, stories sell. And it's just been a good reminder for me to like think like, when you see it, like, or when I go to like think about what I want to write or what I want to share, on social media, specifically Facebook, like I don't want to do what people are expecting, as they're scrolling through, like, oh, here comes Brittany with Young Living. It's like, I want it to, like, catch their attention, and then for it to stop them in their tracks and be like, oh, that's different. Or, oh, I have another MLM girl and she doesn't act like this. You know what I mean? I want it to be, like, different, so that they stop. And another thing, like, what I want to talk about here, it's in, it's kind of in our notes or whatever, is hook lines. I think this is something that is, it's kind of like a rule of journalism across the board. They say if you don't draw your reader into the first, if you don't catch your reader within the first 3 sentences, they will not read the rest of your article. So that goes for like newspapers, magazines, blogs, whatever. The first 3 sentences, if it's not powerful enough, the people will not continue reading. So for Facebook, I just kind of like shorten that. The first sentence, because obviously we're not writing a paper on Facebook. So the first sentence, if it is not catchy enough, if it is not shocking enough, if it is not exciting enough, people will not continue to read the rest of your post. They will scroll right past you. They will not like your photo. They will not ask you a question. They will not leave a comment. It's just the way it is. So hook lines. This goes back to like your voice. Like, what are you funny? Are you sincere? You know what I mean? Do you like to talk about your kids? Do you like to talk about your marriage? What are things that are important to you that your people know? You know what I mean? And what are some ways that you can be surprising? You know what I mean? And ask and draw people into your content. So something I do, this is just something that I'm learning and that I'm trying to apply or whatever, is I don't give all the answers in my post. So I might post a picture of a bunch of oils and maybe a product like let's say a baby lotion or something that I've made for my kids, like an after bath thing or whatever. I might just say like, I don't know, like this is off the top of my head. Someone needs to market this. I'm a mama genius, or I've found the best remedy for creating the most beautiful baby skin, or whatever. I don't even know. This is terrible. Let me think of another example. Let's say, let's talk about something like hormone emotional support for women. Let's just say let's have all those things, all those oils, the product, a roller bottle or whatever in the picture. And then my tagline might be just like, I have found the 8th wonder of the world for mothers, or something. My kids just came in from outside. So I'm not telling them like what I put in it, what all the oils are. I mean, they're pictured in the picture, but I'm not giving like the recipe or, how to apply it, so that people are like, wait a second, in the comments, then they're like, what is this? Is this Young Living? Where'd you get these oils? Like, do you know how I can get them? What's your recipe? Whatever, you know what I mean? So that people are having a conversation with you, so that you can lead them into, further stuff of like, hey, well, I actually have like a mama and kiddos oil class coming up this month, or, oh, I have a live event, like you should come check it out. I'll help you make one of these roller bottles. Or if they're far away, like I would love to mail you some of this with, an explanation on how it works and what you can do to have your 8th wonder. You know what I mean? So that's just something too, again, like to draw people into the conversation. Like, you don't want to give them all the answers, because then they don't need to like it, they don't need to comment, they don't need to talk to you. So I kind of save that stuff for Instagram and my following there. Like, I give a lot more detail there. These are people that are part of my community, people that are maybe already using oils. So I give a lot more answers there. And I think you can probably do that. So anyway, I got 2 more things. I'm trying to make this fast. I would just say too, like on social media, like following that 90-10 rule, or for me once a week, I try to really schedule out my posts. Like, I have an agenda for the month. I don't just, at the beginning of the month, I write it down, and all 4 or 5 posts are completely planned. You know what I mean? This isn't by chance that I'm just posting this. And kind of like my strategy, like for this month, is first week, I'm going to post about my classes so that I can get people involved, get people connected where they need to be so that they're set. You know what I mean? Second week, I might share something informational, something that I blogged about, or another cool information piece on essential oils. Again, like kind of like an educational, maybe with a little story at the top of like, oh, this totally resonates with me. This happened to me, whatever. You know what I mean? So like a story, giving people something, to munch on or to go over. The third week or whatever is going to be like what my incentive is for the month, like, hey, like this is what's going on. I'm sending out diffuser bracelets, water bottles, whatever. You know what I mean? So that people are like, okay, well, I'm seeing, or I've been in a class now, and I've gotten some more information in a personal story, and now this is her incentive. You know what I mean? And then I just follow up with maybe like a personal like DIY product we've made, or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of more chill into the month. You know, so people aren't like, oh, she's coming after me. You know, it's the end of the month or whatever. And I just try to keep it real chill. I mean, like that's my plan for this month, and I'll probably change it up next month. But my point is like strategy, you know, making a plan for social media. And I think that goes a long way. The last thing really fast is graphics. And for any of you who are worried, like, oh, my pictures, like, don't let that hold you up. There is picmonkey.com. We'll link it below. For your phone, Afterlight, I think is 99 cents. It is awesome. I sometimes send pictures like from my computer back to my phone so that I can edit them. You know, at the doctor's office, or if my husband's driving, you know, we're talking, I'll be editing photos or whatever. So easy, so simple to use. I used to try to be fancy with like Lightroom and Photoshop and all that, and it was just like, I can't do it. It's not a super passion of mine, and I don't want to waste my time doing it. So anyway, so I just encourage you to just begin, and don't let your fear of what your pictures look like hold you back. You know, people are going to know, like, if you're stealing photos off of Pinterest. Like, just be you. Okay, so the action step for this week, I'll just read them really fast. It's going to be posted in the Google Docs for you. But action step, share one of your oil stories via social media. Or you could do this personal contact, but I would encourage you to try social media. You know what I mean? Like, plan out, you know, your story with a picture. You know what I mean? And maybe not be like, oh, and now this is how you can join my team, but just simply being like, hey, like, has this happened to you too, or whatever, you know what I mean? Drawing people into your content. And then just something to be thinking about, something we'll be discussing too, is like, what draws you into a certain product? Like, when you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or whatever, what makes you stop? You know what I mean? Is it pretty pictures? Is it a good story? Is it because it's a name brand? Is it because you trust the person and you like them, you have a relationship with them? Like, be making notes of these things, and we're gonna talk about them as this week goes on, and just be thinking, like, because those are great ways to make notes and decide what you're going to do. So, like, what draws you into content? Okay, because most likely your people are looking for the same thing. So yeah, and then reading assignment is, again, this is all the thing. We're going to be doing pages 68 through 131. Again, this is kind of light reading. It's fun reading. So hopefully everyone is learning a lot and is growing in this. That's my prayer for this. I just pray that everybody is like finding joy in this and growth and just affirmation with the decision that they've made, you know, to do Young Living as a business, and just to use it in their own homes with their family and stuff. So I'm going to let you go. Okay, guys, we'll chat. All right, bye-bye.